Good evening, everyone. It's evening where I am. So good evening, good morning if it's morning where you are. Good night wherever you are. Greetings to you. I hope you are well and I hope your families are well. Um, I'm behind schedule on this. Karen Huger, I did make a video. She is a member of the cast of The Real Housewives of Potomac. And after having several DUI occurrences, on this last one, Karen was sentenced to do jail time for a year. Okay, she had previously gotten out of having to do any kind of jail time for the other DUIs, from what I understand. And please keep in mind that everything I'm saying is strictly my opinion, okay? So she was sentenced for this last DUI to do a year term of jail. She only ended up doing 6 months, and she had some good lawyers, from what I understand, and she does have money. And in the US, for sure, but really probably the world, as scripture says, money answereth all things. So we'll park that right there. So she only ended up doing, I think, 6 months time. And this last episode of Potomac showed Karen being released from jail, walking out of jail in her jumper, and she had a jacket on, and getting into her vehicle and being driven back home, where her husband Ray greeted her and her daughter, and her sister was there to welcome her home. Greetings as you come in. Uh, while I am happy for Karen because I've always liked her, okay? I've always liked Karen. She was one of my favorites on Potomac, if not my favorite. Okay. Uh, However, I don't like what seems to me to be a lack of accountability before she went to jail. Okay. Um, to me, before she did the time, there was this attitude or this disposition of being able to get away with what she was doing because she had done it before. And I don't know that she thought she was going to have to do time this time because she is an affluent woman in the United States. Okay. So there was a lack, in my opinion, there was a lack of accountability. And I don't know that she ever would have learned the lesson had she not done time. And I said that in a prior video. So now we are post jail. She has come home. Now, like I said, she was my favorite character or housewife on Potomac. So, what I'm about to say is not coming from a place of hatred, dislike, or jealousy. Um, I was happy to see her going home to her family. However, when she sat down with Andy, he came over to the house. And this is the episode right before they did the first, uh, I guess, reunion is what they call it for this latest season. When she sat down with Andy Cohen and he asked her some questions about her experience and all of these things, her answers gave me pause and and really have me concerned about, did she really learn her lesson? Time will tell, because what I was hearing, even though Andy seemed like throughout the interview, he looked like he was having some questions about whether Karen was taking accountability too. But then at the end of his interview with her, he did make the statement that yes, he sees that she is taking accountability and all of that, and they shared a hug, all of that. I still have some concerns about whether accountability has truly been taken. Yes, she's done 6 months of 5 or 6 months, however long it was, of the year time that she was sentenced to. But here's what my concern was. She said that even while she was going through the legal issues before she was sentenced, that she had voluntarily gone to a rehab center because she was having difficulty with prescription drugs, and that the alcohol wasn't helping. She wouldn't say, I'm an alcoholic, and I'm certainly not one to try to make anybody own a title, because I am is a powerful statement. So we should be one should be careful, or not loose with their words or take ownership. However, from what I heard of the interview, she seemed to blame the night of that accident more on the pills, and saying she didn't have but like a beer or so, uh, and it was mixing them that was the issue, because there seems to be a resistance to admitting alcohol abuse. Okay. And the DUIs that she has had in the past. Now, y'all, I've never had a DUI, and I'm not coming against anybody because we're all human. We have all made mistakes. We've all had experiences, okay? And moments that we're not proud of. I get it. We're people. We're human. I understand that. I know. I'm in the human club. However, she's had several DUIs, and it's my understanding that DUI pertains, and correct me if I'm wrong, put it in the comments, put it in the live chat, usually pertains to driving while under the influence. It could be under the influence of, I guess, pills too, but that usually lends itself to driving while intoxicated with alcohol. I'm not a lawyer. I've never had a DUI. So if I'm wrong, do feel free to tell me and let me know. But usually when I hear about people getting DUIs, it's because they have abused or got caught uh, uh, driving crazy while under the influence of alcohol, not prescription pills. So the fact that she won't fully own that, nobody's trying to run her in the ground, but the fact that she won't fully own that and wants to blame it on, or her experience on, the prescription pills, and really abusing those, that's making me wonder, did you really learn a lesson? This is post jail now, and it's not the prescription pills that had that caused the wreck that she had. The prescription pills didn't cause her to throw up in her designer handbag. That was alcohol. And the prescription it was the alcohol, not the prescription pills, that caused her to tell the officer that was driving her in that she was Thomas Jefferson's concubine. Now, y'all help me, okay? This is what's giving me pause and making me wonder, has she really learned her lesson? And I'm going to say it again. I like Karen. She's my favorite housewife on the show. And then she said while she was going through the legal issues before she was sentenced that she voluntarily went to rehab. That's good. Then she said when she got, here's the next thing that gave me pause. Um, she told Andy that when she got into the jail, that she started teaching the women in the jail, the younger women and stuff, about the whatever it was she was teaching, or whatever. And I don't know if it had something to do with alcohol or if she was just kind of being a mentor. But she said she asked God, why do you have me here? That really, that did it for me. That was like, yeah, yeah, I was even willing to ride in, no, not ride, that's not good terminology. I was even willing to just sit there until she said that, because that's not the question to ask. She was there in jail not to fulfill some mission, like she was out preaching the gospel or something and landed in jail for preaching the gospel. Say like what you read in the Bible, where the apostles ended up in jail for preaching something that people didn't want them preaching. She ended up in jail for DUI repeatedly. But she said she asked God, why do you have me here? As if it was on some mission that didn't have anything to do with her wrecking a car, throwing up in a designer handbag, and telling the officer she was Thomas Jefferson's concubine while under the influence of alcohol, and then admitted it to the officer. That's why she was in jail, not to fulfill some divine assignment. This is what gave me pause. Okay? So, and then for Andy to end the conversation saying it seems like she's taken accountability, I'm wondering what the other housewives think. And in particular, I want to say I'm wondering what Giselle, I call her Jizzy B. I don't know her. I call her Jizzy B. I'm wondering in particular what Giselle thinks, and what her longtime friend, that they seem to be kind of frenemies. And I can't call her name right now. She's not a regular on the show. I'm wondering what she thinks, because from what I understand, they've been friends with Karen for many years. Um, but I don't know if I come from a different time, because I was born around the same time as these women, but or if I'm just cut from a different cloth. I'm not sure. But what I heard did not equal accountability, and I am concerned, and have up a flag in my mind and in my spirit, as to whether or not Karen Huger has really learned a lesson. I believe she doesn't want to go back to jail. But I don't know. Time will tell. That's all I wanted to say on that. Good night, and we shall talk later. I may make one more video uh, after this one because I want to tie up some loose ends on some things. I may make another one right after this one. I may not. All right, y'all have a good night and a good week to come. We shall talk later.